What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, this was one of the stories I was supposed to finish up yesterday, but I didn't have time to, so I do apologize. But this story is recent. Happened a couple days ago out here in Houston, Texas. Well, actually, Cypress, Texas, which is right next to Houston. And it's about a mother, a grandmother, and their teenage grandson / son getting shot up in front of their home after some other kids came to the house to fight the boy that was shot. It is a crazy world out here. You know, it's nothing in the black community, even when I was younger, for kids to show up en masse, knock on the door, and tell somebody they want to fight them. Hell, sometimes bust up in the house and try to fight them in front of family members, and it never ends well. Now you got guns and weapons involved, makes it all up worse. Kids are crazy, and they move at the speed that the world turns, as far as the level of violence, aggression, and all this other stuff. But right now it's at a fever pitch and an all-time high. I want you to take a look at this story, and I will come back with commentary. One of these in the video, this one guy said a whole lot in just a little bit of time. Check this out.
Terror in a Northwest Harris County neighborhood after what deputies say appear, calling it a shootout.
Officials say a teenage boy, his mother, and grandmother were all hurt in the shootout last night. All right, tonight the Harris County Sheriff's Office says the majority of the teenagers involved in this are either current or former students. So far, no arrests have been made after the shooting on Yukon Ranch Drive in Cypress. Our Mo Hyder has been speaking with neighbors and investigators.
A spokesperson with the Harris County Sheriff's Office hasn't said how many people they believe were involved in the shooting. They did say they do believe at least 3 people fired a gun. Surveillance video from a resident here in the Yukon Ranch subdivision captures the sound of bullets ringing through the neighborhood. Right now, the Harris County Sheriff's Office says it wants to know who fired shots, hitting 3 people last night.
I saw a bunch of people running all over there, and they were screaming and hollering, "Hey, stop, stop, stop."
The Sheriff's Office tells ABC 13 a 17-year-old at this home was arguing on the phone and went outside. That's when they say his grandmother and mother tried to get him to go back in. Moments later, deputies say a group of teenagers showed up at the house and an argument broke out. That argument then turned into a shootout between the 17-year-old and the group. In the chaos, the sheriff's office said the teen, his mother, and grandmother were all shot and sent to the hospital. A neighbor who lives down the street didn't want to be seen on camera, says he was home last night when he heard the gunshots.
I mean, I have kids that are in middle school, so it doesn't make me feel good at all. I'm worried about that kind of stuff happening because it can happen in the school too.
Investigators say they believe most, if not all, of the teens involved are either current or former Cypher ISD students. Right now, they're working with the district to identify anyone involved. The department hasn't said if they believe the 17-year-old was targeted.
That's heartbreaking. I mean, for anybody to succumb to gun violence is just heartbreaking. It's absolutely ridiculous.
The 17-year-old and his family members are out of the hospital and back home. They declined to speak with us. We also reached out to the school district. They did not provide any additional details. In Northwest Harris County, Mo Hyder, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Caroline Collins. Welcome to Fox 26 News at 5. At this hour, investigators are searching for the people behind a shooting that injured a teen and 2 women. We're hearing from a witness to all of that violence. Fox 26's Leslie Delaswar is joining us live now in Cypress, where this has all happened. Leslie, what have you learned today?
That's right, Caroline. Well, just behind me here in this home, a teen, a mother, and a grandmother were all shot. Luckily, they did survive, but here's what we know. Precinct 5 deputies responded to this block after officials say a woman called and reported being shot when a group of teenagers arrived at her home to fight with her grandson. However, while authorities were at the home, they learned a 17-year-old boy came here and was arguing with someone over the phone. He later stepped out to the driveway, followed by several family members who were urging urging him to go back inside. A group of teenagers approached and a verbal fight escalated to gunfire between the 17-year-old and the other teenage boys. Now we talked to a parent who lives nearby. Here's what he had to say.
Me and the kids just inside hanging out, heard a few loud pops. I was under the assumption it was fireworks. My oldest son came into me and said, "That wasn't fireworks, man. I saw the gunfight." So after that, I mean, this was about 6:09, about 6:15, the entirety of Precinct 5 was on scene. It was pretty quick. Good response from the precinct, I'll say that much. To my understanding, it was a verbal altercation, and the unfortunate circumstance is, these kids these days, they don't know how to use their words to solve problems, so they result to violence and anger, and it's sad, but it's the reality of these days. We've been here 10 years, and I'd say in the last 5, things have just started to kind of come down. Yeah, I mean, just like 4th of July, it just sounded like somebody setting off a round of black cats in the middle of the street. So I was just under the assumption that it was a verbal altercation due to, well, I guess, I heard yelling and screaming from the street, but that'd be it. It's terrifying. I mean, my kids grew up here. They like to play outside, but, lately we're staying inside, staying inside where it's safe. I mean, aside from the fact that there's no sidewalks on the street, now we've got to worry about the potential of gun violence. It's heartbreaking. It's not easy. Talk to your kids. Let them know that, violence isn't the answer. Words can solve problems much easier. And, hug your loved ones. Tell them you love them.
Now, coming up at 6, we talk with a child who was home when all of this happened, and that child recaps what he remembers. Reporting in Cyprus, Leslie Dellis for Fox 26 News.
All right, guys, there you have it. Boy get into an argument with somebody over the phone. Threats were issued. They come to the house wanting all the smoke. But the only people got smoked was the boy that couldn't control himself and the people that tried to stop him from getting hurt and wind up getting hurt themselves. Now, if you paid attention, they said the people that came over there were students of the school he goes to and former students, people that used to go to the school. These people drove over there en masse with weapons. They say 3 people shot. His grandmother and mom are trying to calm down this dude that's caught up in his feelings, arguing with guys. See, I'm going to tell you something. The amount of pressure that are on teens to be something outside of normal human rationale, especially boys, is something that I guess a lot of us can't see. Your grandmother and mother, people that you usually respect, are in the hospital and hurt because of a decision, an irrational decision you made in going to go out there and face people that meant you harm, and you put them in harm's way. Now, I'm not going to say it's all his fault, because people have disagreements all the time. Don't know what the conversation was about. They could have been yelling at him and he could have been yelling back. And then they issued a threat and was like, watch this, and then hung the phone up. So we don't know. But one thing's for sure. The killer instinct and the hate that you see human beings having towards each other out here right now is unmatched since the beginning of time. Seriously. It's nothing to get killed. Nothing. These are kids. And 3 or more, whoever was in that car, thought it was a good idea to go over a house with guns, jump out in the neighborhood that they not from, and commenced a shooting. And you heard it was a lot of shots in broad daylight on a street where other witnesses are there, and drive off like they not gonna get caught. You shot an old woman, the mother, her daughter, and then the daughter's son because of a disagreement. Ain't nothing worse pulling the trigger on that. It's not. When I was 17, 18 years old, I was prepping myself to go to college or whatever. I'm almost out of school. I'm happy as hell I ain't got to wake up early in the morning no more for a while. But not now. Not now. Normal thoughts and behaviors of children are being replaced with shit they either listen to or patterns of favorite people that they want to pattern themselves out of. Or they don't have male figures, so they just figure it out from movies and shit that they hear and see and bombard themselves constantly with, that creates a psyche that you see out here. They were shooting for a long time. And if you count the seconds of the bullets, it was about 5, 6, 7 seconds of nonstop gunfire. During that 5, 6, 7 seconds of gunfire, right? I'm more than sure they saw that they hit a woman, her mother, and then the intended target they had. I wouldn't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear me, is if that boy came out on the porch, they came up, jumped out the car, he was woofing at them, they was woofing at him, his parents, grandmom and mom, got a hold of him, pushed him back, and then they opened fire because they knew they couldn't get to him. I'm more than sure that could happen too. See, a lot of times people be turned up, puffing up their chests, get in front of you, and when they see something they gonna go their way, and other people are in the way, they don't care. They gonna get you, and they don't care who they hit, because they cold-hearted, they tough guys, they this, they that. It's a bunch of bullshit. I told you before, to be men, you gotta see men. And a lot of these motherfuckers are being raised without proper guidance. You can't talk to them nowadays. They hear what you say, and out of respect, they shut their mouth and can't wait for you to issue the last syllable so they can walk off and forget what you said 5 minutes later. And a lot of them was like, we was teenagers, all of us, especially boys. We like, they don't know what they talking about. Oh, they corny because they old and stuff. Yeah, well, to get to that age and be out here in freedom, it takes some know-how. And they trying to impart wisdom on your dumb asses, but y'all don't want to hear the shit. It's crazy, man. It is crazy. Dude said the part that was crazy to me, he said 5 years ago it was nice. Now in the last 5 years, we just starting to see a bunch of shit. Said talk to your kids, this and that. Yeah, that's the normal thing parents do. But we live in an abnormal world right now. And a lot of stuff that's abnormal is the grip that temptation and other vying things, whether it's for monetary value or whatever, dig into your kids and try to remove them from your household, if not physically, mentally. See, it's a war being fought around, and you don't see what the enemy is, but you see the outcome. When something got its hooks in your kids, temptation is real. If it ain't a predator trying to do it for 6 sadistic reasons, it's advertisements, it's in movies, it's in music. All is trying to change the whole dynamic and the thinking pattern of your child. Stuff that you think is safe, you might have looked at it for 5 minutes. But if you look for 15, you'll see my kid shouldn't be looking at this shit. Because it warps the sense of reality and tries to curve and pigeonhole people into a certain way of thinking out here with mainstream society, and then you lose your children and they in the house and you never know it. That should have never happened. A grandmother, an old woman. Back in the day, people had principles. They had certain things they will and won't do. Now there are no rules and everybody's on the menu. Sickening. Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Only a matter of time. They know who they are. Police already know who they are. They just looking for them. The grandparents, the grandmom and the mother, both of them already know who it is. They didn't talk to him already, and behind closed doors, I know more than sure he ain't keeping his mouth shut after his mom and grandmom got shot up. See you in the next video. Take care.